If you want to increase your willpower and self-control in the times that you need it, then you need to apply my calm down and think protocols and the happiness advantage. So there's this part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex, and this is responsible for long-term planning and creativity. And it's also the reason why humans have conquered the planet and humans are better than every animal species that ever exists. Your prefrontal cortex also handles self-control. So, anytime, what even is self control? Self control is when a part of your brain called the limbic system, specifically the amygdala, pipes up and it gives you like some impulse to do some action. So, for example, your limbic system notices, oh, my blood sugar is low. That means I'm hungry. I need to eat right now. And so you'll trigger the feeling of hunger in your body. Like you'll start to think and obsess about food. And so you want to get it. But then your prefrontal cortex is always looking at the limbic system and thinking, is that right? So the prefrontal cortex is going to look at that and he's like, no, no. The other tribe members need to eat as well. If I eat it, then they'll go hungry and they'll exile me. And besides, even if they don't exile me, me eating my food right now also still means that I'll be hungry in the future. I need to restrain this food foraging so that I can get more food now and there's less consequences in the future. That's self control. Self control is when your prefrontal cortex looks at the impulse of your limbic system and thinks to itself, no, that's bad. That's bad for the future. We need to not do that. Just because the prefrontal cortex is there and it knows that something is bad doesn't necessarily mean that the impulse, the feeling, the urge itself will go away. So then, if the prefrontal cortex is so important for self control, what actually turns it off? Because if you think about it, the times that you've like cheated on your diet or your goon, it's like you just weren't thinking. You just saw the temptation and you just went after it. What that just means is that your limbic system was on and your prefrontal cortex was off. So then what turns it on? What turns it off? It's being in fight or flight mode. Because when you're in the fight or flight system, it means that your limbic system will turn on and your prefrontal cortex is inhibited, meaning that you'll actually value your long-term goals less and give up self-control for short-term reward. So if you want to increase your self-control, you need to turn off the fight or flight response as much as possible to turn off the limbic system and allow the prefrontal cortex to kick in and actually think. That's why I said calm down and think protocols at the start of the video. Because really, a lot of people, when they see the food, their heart literally like starts to beat faster. They like mouth breathe, they shallow breathe, and all they can think about is the food. They're just thinking to themselves, if I eat it, it's gonna feel good. That's it. If I eat it, it feels good. But you need to do long term thinking. You need to calm down and let your prefrontal cortex think, not your limbic system, your prefrontal cortex. So, what are the protocols? What are the calm down and think protocols? The first one that you can do that will actually be surprisingly more effective than you actually expected is the extended exhale breathing to increase HRV. So HRV stands for heart rate variability. It's basically the higher your HRV is, the less of your fight or flight mode is on, and the more of your calmness, rest and digest system is on. So when you exhale, like really long, so I'll show you how to do it. Basically, you breathe like a short inhale, like relatively short, through your nose, and you exhale like 5 to 10 seconds to 15 through your mouth and through pursed lips. And then you repeat that like multiple times. It's an extended exhale. That's why it's like 5 to 15 seconds. And it's like a relatively short inhale. The inhale has to be shorter than the exhale. What happens is when you do this extended exhale breathing, it controls a part of your body called the sinus arrhythmia mechanism, which just means that when you exhale, your body will activate the parasympathetic nervous system more and decrease the sympathetic nervous system. It will turn off the fight or flight mode and increase HRV. So, in the body, you increase your HRV, which means your heart is slower, your blood pressure is slower. What does that mean for your brain? It means that because the fight or flight mode is off, your limbic system and your amygdala specifically is turned off. And if the limbic system is turned off, automatically the prefrontal cortex will turn on, just automatically. And it also helps you to calm down because I remember once I was during this like 48-hour prolonged fast. Holy frick, bro. My stomach was hurting so much. I genuinely wanted to eat some food. There was like some chicken in front of me, and I love chicken. So I was like, God help me. I was even like making prayers because it was hard. It genuinely, like, not only was it hard, my heart was like so fast. I wasn't even doing a marathon, but my heart, it was as if like some impending doom was coming on me. Like I had anxiety because of my self control. And that's actually natural. But if you have anxiety and you try to do self control, it doesn't mix together well. It's like uh it's like trying to push in a plug and pull it off at the same time. You can't really do both at the same time. You have to either pull it or push it. Extended exhale breathing, which will increase your HRV, will actually reduce the limbic system and automatically turn on the part of your brain that's even responsible for self control and long term planning. The second calm down and think protocol is less physiological and more mental. So, basically, this is what you say to yourself every time you meet a temptation, like you're on a diet and you see a cookie. Okay. Remember why. Remember why. So, one time, I think it was 12 p.m. I was attending to something and I was trying to listen to this piece of information so that I could like improve myself and improve my actions. And I remember some person was handing out food and like offering food to everyone. Whew, it smelled so good. Holy frick, bro. I was like thinking, "Ah, I want to eat. I want to eat, but I can't. Oh, but it would taste really good though. It would taste really good." And then the person came up to me and he's like, "You want food? Yeah, you can have this." And I'm like, I'm okay, bud." And then they just like turned away. They're like, "Oh, I understand," or something. And as they walked away, I was thinking to myself, "Remember why you fast. Remember why you fast." Oh, so it the reason I want to fast is because I want to enter like ketosis and autophagy so that my brain is better at focusing and I have better self control and my energy will go up. The reason I want to fast, remember why I fast, is to have more motivation because I find that it's everything is kind of a drag for me to do. So I just I realize that motivation is so important to success. So if I fast, my motivation will actually go up. And mm, it's gonna help me in spirituality because I'm actually doing fasting for my religion, like intermittent fasting, not just prolonged fasting. It's also gonna help me in forming ideas and to focus on making this YouTube channel as widespread as possible and effective as possible, so I can cure depression around the world as much as possible, with God's help. And then as soon as I thought all of those things, it actually became easy for me to resist the food, even though my stomach was hurting from hunger. Like, basically, the reason why that works so well is because earlier I said the prefrontal cortex is responsible for long term planning. And in order to do things long term, you have to sacrifice short term reward. But imagine imagine I told you to lose weight or like to stop eating food, but I injected something into you so that you don't lose weight. Like, let's say your goal is to lose weight, and I'm forcing you or I'm telling you to fast, but specifically doing something to your body so that the fasting doesn't work. Would you continue to do the fasting? No, because it's not worth it. You're to fast, you're sacrificing the short term reward of food for literally no long term benefit. If there's no long term benefit, you will not do the short term reward. You will not sacrifice the short term reward because there is no reason to sacrifice it for. There's no long term benefit. So if you want to sacrifice the short term reward, you need to always keep in mind the long term goal. Otherwise, it's pointless. Your brain, your prefrontal cortex will think it's just a waste of energy. Let's just give into it because that's actually what's going to help us survive. No. Remember why you sacrifice. When you sacrifice, when you remind yourself, you remember the reason why you're committing to fasting or to going away from drugs or from smoking. It's going to activate your prefrontal cortex because your prefrontal cortex is involved in sacrificing short term reward for long term benefit. But your prefrontal cortex literally is incapable of doing that if you don't see the long term reward and you see only the short term reward. Because most people's thought processes, when they see the food in front of them, all they're thinking to themselves is, holy frick, I want that food right now. Please. I need that food. I need that food. I need that food. Like, they're just thinking about how good the food will taste. A person with real self control is thinking about the weight that he'll lose and the smile that he'll have on his face when he looks at the scale. He's not thinking about the pleasure of the food, he's thinking about the pleasure of the long term reward after the sacrifice has been done. You have to remind yourself why the sacrifice is worth it. Otherwise, your brain will think it's worthless and it will just intentionally value and forget your long term goals and also just give up self control to give into short term reward. So that's the second protocol of calm down and think, which is remember why. If you want to quit smoking, remember why you want to stop smoking. Oh, because I realize I genuinely can't focus and I have some important work that I need to do and I need focus for it. And it's also like destroying my relationships with my family and friends because and it's also like destroying my mind. It's giving me uh, lung cancer and I want to live for my kids so that they can like grow up with a father. So I need to quit smoking so that they can have a loving father who's strong enough to be there with them. Like already, just that one example, you probably like put yourself in the shoes of that person. You're like, yo, that's inspiring. Why was it so inspiring? Because you reminded yourself of the long-term goals that you had. And if you know that there's something better in the future than the short-term reward right now, that will be what makes your sacrifice worth it. So that's one and two of the calm down and think protocols. So the first calm down and think protocol is physiological. You do the extended exhale breathing so that the fight or flight mode is turned off and your prefrontal cortex is automatically turned on. Sometimes I find that when I do this extended exhale breathing, the craving literally goes away, which is surprising. Like I was so surprised. And that's because you're turning off the part of the brain that's even giving you this thing in the first place. The second thing of the calm down and think protocol is remember why. Sacrificing the short term reward isn't worth it if you don't remember your long term goals. So always keep that in mind. Yeah, and self control is so important for success. If you don't have self control, not only will you be unsuccessful, you'll also be unhappy. A lot of these like government officials are say or like health professionals are saying, "Oh, take antidepressant medication and go do therapy." No, a smoker gets lung cancer by smoking for 20 years straight. It's weird how after smoking for 20 years, they give them chemotherapy. But like the thing that caused the lung cancer in the first place was smoking. You wouldn't give a healthy person chemotherapy because that's actually dangerous and there's literally no need. The reason chemotherapy doesn't work well at the first stage is because it wasn't even the root cause. And one of the root causes of depression is self control. And there are more specific causes, but self control, lack of it, and focus can be the root cause to depression. Not antidepressant medication, which is chemotherapy after the root cause has done the damage. You need to remove the smoking and the body will heal itself. Just like how your mind will heal itself after you adopt these calm down and think protocols and increase your self control. Make life worth living. By the way, my mission is to teach people around the world how to cure depression, anxiety, and laziness, and to reduce the amount of suicide rates, reduce the amount of depression, PTSD, trauma. I want to cure depression around the world. That's my mission. And I need supporters. So if you genuinely support me, you can leave a like below, you can subscribe, you can also comment down below, and share these videos to your family and friends. See you.